Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Powerful Women Today Live. We have today somebody that Andy Warhol will be so proud of. Just like we all had our 15 minutes of fame, nowadays we all have to have and be aware of our personal brands. We are all a brand, whether we like the concept or not. And for those that do not like the concept, often is because it's misunderstood. So we have today powerful Women Today mentor expert Treva Graves to talk to us about personal brands. So let's get to it.
Empowering women on a global scale. Welcome to Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. Powerful Women Today is on a mission of inclusion, rewriting his story to include her story, and empowering, raising, and amplifying women's voices with professional speaking, publishing, original podcasting, and web TV. And now here's your host, the founder of Powerful Women Today, Carolina Billings.
Hi, everyone. So we have Treva Graves, the founder and principal of Bloom Personal Branding and Impression Management, a certified personal brand strategist. Welcome, Treva.
Thank you so much for having me, Carolina. It's great to be here.
I have been so looking forward to this call because, terms like executive presence, personal brands, like it's just all words that we hear every day, but we don't always understand exactly what does it mean and why it matters. So walk us through what is personal branding and what is the biggest misconception that you come across?
Yes. Well, personal branding really defines who you are and why people would want to know you or do business with you. So it's the whole representation of yourself. And basically, that's your reputation. So personal brand is really another word for your reputation. And I know Jeff Bezos once said, he said, it's what people think about you when you're not in the room. So it's a lot about perception and, what do people feel? What's the energy that you put out there about yourself that shares who you are? And so personal branding is different than a corporate brand. I mean, most people think of logos and fonts and websites and colors and all of those things. And yes, that is a part of your brand if you are a coach, a content creator, an author, all of that. But it's more about your passion, your values, your strengths, your purpose, your mission. It's why you do what you do. And there's always a reason for that.
And let's face it, this is a little bit generational. So millennials and Zoomers have they're digital natives. So to them, a personal brand almost came, a point of birth with their cell phone, right? But for Gen Xers and Boomers, or even early millennials, the concept of a personal brand is, well, a little self-aggrandizing, if that is the case. And they may not always understand why it matters. And in how do you even go about it? Like, I don't need a logo that is Carolina Billings, you know what I mean? But
Yes.
so why does it matter so much? We spoke about reputation, right? That's easy for everyone to understand because we've all been through high school. We all know what that means and how that stays. But
Yes.
tell me, in ways that it affects people on their everyday life.
Yes. Yes. So for myself, being someone who helps people build brands, it's really about sharing your story. who are you and why do you do what you do? And we know that personal branding is a trust accelerator. So
Mhm.
people want to see you, know you before and like you, even before they buy from you. So I know we get hung up on that whole term of, oh, she's just self-promoting herself, or, oh,
Mhm.
she must have an ego. And it's really nothing about that at all. It's about how you present yourself to the world, whether that's through video, through a post on social, through your leadership at work, um, whether you're an entrepreneur starting a business. People do business with people today, not
Mhm.
necessarily companies. Back in the day when I'm a Gen Xer, I'm an old Gen Xer. Back in the day, boomers, people, for example, let's just take a real estate company, Century 21, which they all wore these gold jackets. And
Mhm.
people would think, oh, they're the gold standard of real estate. So if I could work with anyone in that company, that's probably good. But it's
Mhm.
not like that anymore. It's about the person in the company versus the company. So they
Yeah.
work with someone who they like and they trust, and you know, they probably checked you out online, several times before they might even call you. And so, what you put out there, whether it's in person or digital, don't think of it as self promoting. Think of it
Mhm.
as being authentic, being your true self, and sharing things about you to serve other people. It's really about serving
Yeah.
others with your uniqueness and your expertise.
And the thing is really, unless you're going through life in the influencer sphere,
Yeah.
for regular leadership, thought leadership, people that just want to bring good to the world, right?
Hmm.
It's really about promoting your message. It's like you're
Yes.
not promoting yourself, you're promoting your message. And I have to tell you, working so many years in human resources. So there's a couple of things that I want to touch base with you. One is ego is not a bad thing.
Right.
Someone, there's an element of ego that is good because ego means you matter to yourself.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
matter to yourself. It's only when we take it to an extreme where ego is the driver that, yes,
Hmm.
of course, is a bit of a challenge. But to have a healthy amount of self-respect and for you to be the one believing that message and that reputation of yourself, that should be your, in my opinion, not that we should use the word should, but that ought to be your first priority,
Hmm.
right? To have a good message that you believe about yourself, which is your self esteem. That is the reputation that you believe about yourself. And that is where it begins, right? And that is what it transferred to the world. But so an ego, don't especially for women, like an ego is a good thing. It's a good thing. It helps you set boundaries. It helps you be one of the people that you want to do good in the world for, including yourself. But something else you said is now with technology, now with social media, now with this is the medium now.
Hmm.
It's not who you know, but who knows you, right?
Hmm.
It's who knows you. So when you speak about, impression management, I love that because we all understand, again, we all understand first impressions,
Yes.
but now they're in ink, global and forever. So it
Uh-huh.
has never mattered more that you understand what does it mean to take to the airwaves and share your thoughts.
Hmm. Well, and making that first impression, or just continuing to make an impression, some things that come to mind. is your confidence level. I mean, people want to be around people that are confident, right?
Yeah, who
You
like
know,
themselves.
yes, who have self-respect and they're carrying themselves well. They can communicate well. I mean, all of those essential skills, some people call them soft skills,
I
but those
know.
skills that we need to
Essential
help us,
skills.
yeah, make,
Absolutely.
make a great impression. And that impression, those touches that you leave, whether it is digital or in person, if you're making a good impression, they're going to remember that. They're going to remember, did they show empathy towards me? Did they listen to me? Were they authentic? Were they confident?
Mhm.
Were they encouraging? I mean, these are some of the newer
Were they
trends we're
sharing
seeing.
value? Were they
Yes,
sharing value or just trying to sell me something?
right.
You know? And
And
that matters. That matters towards trust.
it does, because personal branding is a trust accelerator.
Mm,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Nobody's going to follow you or like you or buy from you if they don't trust you. And building that trust takes time.
Yes.
So it doesn't
And
happen
it takes
overnight.
consistency. There's something that I am intrigued by, and we need to begin to capture and maybe debrief case studies, right? Because I think you and I would have a lot of fun at it. But
Uh-huh.
whenever I see, especially now with so much happening in the world, right, that
Mhm.
oftentimes ends up in dualities. Either you agree or disagree, or we've somehow gone back to this world of duality. If you're not with me, you're against me.
Right.
But there's people who are highly accomplished. There's people who have worked. There's like doctors and lawyers and people who've spent decades in education, practitioner, all of that, to have it all disappear because of an argumentative, irrelevant comment that is just impulsive, that really
Mhm.
doesn't. It's almost as if they think that their reputation online, their professional, is separate from their personal, when in fact they're fully integrated.
Mhm.
People's jobs, like executives with earning like millions, tumble down for
Yes.
things they say online, just capriciously.
Mhm.
What do you think about that? Like, do people not understand that their job, there's a fiduciary, there's an executive responsibility to how you show up?
Yeah, well, even in our latest issue of Powerful Women Today, that whole work-life integration
Yes, yes.
and our brand, our work brand, our personal brand, I mean, they're integrated. They
Yeah.
go together. You can't be one person here and another person there.
You can have a fans only account and be the PTA coach or chair. But that is happening.
It
You know what
is.
I mean? It,
It
it,
is.
it is. And these are that's the part that I sit back and oftentimes I think that, okay, so you and I happen to be trained, in the field, right? Because
Yeah.
we don't just, these are skills that we've worked hard and we've developed and we're passionate about. But I
Yes.
often think, am I seeing this because of my HR background? Am I seeing this because of my, executive presence? Right? Like, how is it that other people are not realizing or connecting the dots, especially now? This is not new. This is years into it that we've seen the mighty fall.
Hmm. And I've seen a lot of this, especially, I've worked with some politicians
Mhm.
who want to run for office. In fact, I worked with a gubernatorial candidate in South Carolina recently. Lovely, lovely woman. And, she was kind of running against somebody that, maybe had some skeletons in the closet, and
Right.
the thing to remember, whatever you put out there about yourself, that digital footprint remains,
Mhm. And people can go back and check.
forever. Yeah.
They can go back and check if what you're saying is true. It's a
Yeah.
whole new world. And again, is the good thing about it, right? Because on the negative side, it's like there's never been more scrutiny than now, right?
Yes.
But on the good thing is that it acts as a filter,
Hmm.
right? That people can go back and check, did you, like, look what happened to, Claudine Gray in her, citation of references. Like, people
Yeah.
are able to go back to your dissertations and
Right.
triple check and double check and go back to essays you wrote in high school. And it is, when we think about it, it can be paralyzing, but it
Hmm.
doesn't have to be.
Hmm. I think even just the media and journalism in general has changed so much over
Yeah.
the last 10, 20 years. I mean, it's almost like people just want to find dirt, rather than,
Yeah, or it's
talking about all the
exposing.
good things. They want to find where did they screw up, or, I mean, we all have things that we are not proud of.
Oh, listen,
We
the
are not
days,
proud.
everybody pads their resume, right? Like, filing becomes archiving.
Yeah.
And, we all have a little ways to embellish. And so you should put yourself in the best light, do not
Yes.
diminish your accomplishments, but it's finding the right balance. And that's why working with a coach, with a confidence coach, with a
Yeah.
reputation coach, it's not quite a publicist. Like, don't
Right.
equate the two. It's not like you have to have this massive budget to, you know, launch a campaign to reinvent yourself. It's not about
Hmm.
that. It's just simply knowing that your future's in your present, meaning
Mm.
the next job is actually living alive on your LinkedIn today, because
Hmm.
all of the activity that you put forth, all of your critical thinking, everything that you're building that portfolio is leading you to your next step. And
Hmm.
it's the same with all social media, right?
Yes.
So really, media training and media coaching ought to be a mandatory skill for leadership, management, executive,
Yes.
anybody who aims to achieve lots in their life for their
Hmm.
own good and happiness and the good and happiness of the world.
Oh, absolutely.
You can
Absolutely.
tell we're true believers. And that's the kind of people you want to learn with, right?
Right.
Someone that is passionate, that understands it.
Yes. I mean, I think back when I started my business 11 years ago and all of the mistakes I made,
Mhm.
if I could go back then with the knowledge I have now, I would have done things completely differently.
But you
But
would have made new mistakes.
I figured
Let's
it out.
face it, right? Mistakes are part of learning.
Right.
Like,
Right.
that is,
But as long as you stay true and
Mhm.
authentic to who you are and
That's right.
what your message is that you're putting out into the world,
Mhm.
you can't go wrong there. You really
Yeah,
can't.
that's
Just
right.
be who you are, share your story, and your audience will find you,
Mhm.
whoever that audience is, whether it's a client or you're speaking at a conference or
Kindred
you're in
spirits.
leadership at a company. I mean,
Mhm.
they're going to gravitate towards you if they know that you are authentic and true to yourself and your message.
And that you walk your talk,
Yes, absolutely.
right? It's
Mhm.
got to be evidence based. So,
Yes.
it's really media literacy is now
Mhm.
part of your foundational literacy. And you begin to work with and follow and, get a sampling of the kind of work that Treva does. Like, I am so excited that you're now writing for our magazine, and I'm so excited that you're one of our mentor experts, and you're doing all these incredible things with us and publishing and doing all these great things, because it is literacy, especially if you did not grow up with it, if it's not
Right.
second nature to you.
Right.
So and it's key. It's key to being able to share your gifts to the world. And there's tons and tons of people waiting for your message. They are, and now is the time. Now is the time to showcase your gifts, how beautiful you are, and just feel good and feel good in helping people. So Trevor, you have a gift for us today. So tell us about it. And if we could close our segment with something that somebody can begin to practice today.
Okay. All right. So my gift to the listeners today is, if you are, it doesn't matter if you're a leader, an entrepreneur, someone wanting to start a business or write a book, or you just want to learn more about it to be a better person or rise up that career ladder. I'm offering you a free call with me. I have a little workbook that we will actually work through on the call to
Wow.
see where your brand is right now and where the work needs to be done to get your message out there and let the world see you.
And bloom and blossom, which is what you do.
Awesome. Yes. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely to talk to you. And please check out Treva's articles on our magazine, or PWT magazine, and on our PWT networking groups, be it on LinkedIn or on our very own app. We'll put the links below. So thank you. Thank you, Treva. And until next time.
Yes. Thank you.
Empowering women on a global scale. This has been Powerful Women Today with Carolina Billings. To learn more about how you can join and transform your life and the lives of women everywhere with professional speaking, publishing, podcasting, and web TV, visit powerfulwomentoday.com. Remember to subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you like to listen and watch your podcasts.